She doesn't know she's being controlled. That's the part that matters. Most men think control is loud, aggressive, something you see coming, but Machiavelli knew better. Real control is silent. It lives in the space between what you say and what you don't. Most men try to win her with gifts, with words, with explanations, and that's exactly why they lose. Because while they're performing, you're watching, and in that watching, that's where the power lives. You've seen it before. The man who always texts back, always available, always there. He thinks consistency builds trust, and maybe it does. But trust isn't attraction. And here's what most men never understand. The moment she feels certain about you is the moment she stops thinking about you. Because the human mind, her mind, doesn't chase what it already holds. It chases what it might lose. So here's the question. What if you could become the thought she can't escape? Not by doing more, but by taking something away. Machiavelli said it centuries ago. It is much safer to be feared than loved. And every woman who reads that quote will deny it. But watch what she does, not what she says. You know what's strange? Love feels warm, safe, comfortable, and comfort. Comfort is where attraction goes to die. Because when love is always there, always giving, always soft, it becomes background noise. She stops feeling it, not because she's cruel, because she's human. And humans don't value what they can't lose. Now enter fear. Not the kind that hurts, not yelling, not drama. That's weakness wearing a mask. Real fear is simpler. It's when a man has boundaries so firm she feels them without him saying a word. He doesn't argue. He doesn't explain his worth. He just moves away. And that absence hits harder than any emotional speech ever could. Because the moment she realizes he's serious, the game changes. She knows he won't break his own rules just to keep her around. She knows that if she disrespects him, she loses him. And that's when attraction becomes obsession. Not because he gave her more, but because he was willing to give nothing when his values were crossed. That's the fear. Not of a man, but of losing a man she can't control. Most women aren't obsessed with being loved. They're obsessed with the man who doesn't need their love to feel complete. That's why she chases the one who walks away. That's why she respects the one who doesn't fold. So remember this. She may love you, but if she doesn't fear losing you, you're replaceable. There was a man I knew. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus had a girlfriend, 3 years together. She loved him, or said she did, but she had a habit. Little tests, little disrespects, showing up late, canceling plans, flirting in front of him to see if he'd react. And Marcus, like most men, he'd get upset, argue, try to explain how it made him feel, and every time he did, she'd do it again. Until one night, she canceled on him, last minute. No real excuse. And Marcus didn't respond, didn't argue, didn't ask why. Just silence. 2 days passed, then 3. She texted, called, showed up at his place, and when she asked what was wrong, he looked at her, calm, still, unmoved. Nothing's wrong, he said. I'm just not interested in being disrespected. Then he closed the door, not angry, not hurt, just done. And in that moment, she felt something she'd never felt with him before. Fear, not of him, of losing him. And that fear, it changed everything. Machiavelli said something else, something brutal. It is not necessary to be good. It is necessary to appear good. Most men live their whole lives trying to prove their worth. They explain, they justify, they perform. But here's the truth. The world doesn't see your truth. It sees your presentation. You can be loyal, intelligent, deep, but if you show up with weak posture, uncertain tone, anxious energy, no one will feel your worth, especially not her. Because female attraction doesn't begin with facts. It begins with perception. Not what are you, but what do I feel when I'm around you? She's not analyzing your logic. She's scanning your energy, how you walk, how you speak, how you react when tested. And that's where image becomes power. This isn't about lying. It's about framing, because humans don't respond to truth. They respond to what feels true. So when you feel unsure, stand like a man who is certain. When you feel anger, speak like a man who controls fire. When you want to chase her, do nothing. Let her come toward you, because in stillness is power. In mystery is attraction. Let her see 80% of who you are. Leave the rest behind your eyes, and what she creates in her mind will be far more powerful than anything you could say. Because mystery is magnetic, and humans don't chase what they fully understand. They chase what they can't quite grasp. Every woman will test you, not to hurt you, but to see if you break. She'll shift her tone, pull away, go cold, then warm, then cold again. And all of it is to see one thing. Do you collapse or do you hold? Most men don't even know they're being tested. They think she's confused, emotional. So they explain, apologize, try to fix things with words. And just like that, they lose. But Machiavelli gave the blueprint centuries ago. A powerful man must be both a lion and a fox. The lion is power. He doesn't chase, doesn't explain. He creates boundaries with his silence. The fox is intelligence. He doesn't react to bait, doesn't reveal his hand. He listens and strikes when the moment is clean. Here's the trap most men fall into. If you're only the lion, strong, direct, forceful, she'll find a way to provoke you, and when you explode, she sees you as unstable. Your power becomes noise. If you're only the fox, clever, calm, calculating, she'll feel your charm but not your spine. And without that fire, she won't trust you to lead. But if you are both, if she sees strength in your stillness and calculation in your silence, she won't know how to predict you. And that uncertainty, that's what hooks her deeper than words ever could. Here's something nobody tells you. If you're always available, you become predictable, and predictable is forgettable. But when you disappear, without warning, without drama, without explanation, you become unforgettable. Not because you punished her, but because you created a void. And the female mind, it cannot resist a void. It has to fill it. When you go silent, her mind begins to speak louder than ever. She replays your last conversation, rewinds every glance, every pause, and every word you didn't say. She searches for clues that aren't there. Did I do something wrong? Why hasn't he reached out? Was he just pretending to care? Now she's no longer enjoying your attention. She's haunted by your absence. And that's the key, because where most men over-explain, over-give, overstay, you vanish. Not to create pain, but to create space. And in that space, she starts imagining you. She starts remembering you not as you were, but as something larger, colder, more powerful. Now you're no longer a man. You're an unresolved question, a ghost of unfinished meaning. This isn't cruelty, it's psychological contrast. You give warmth, then take it away. You show presence, then retreat into shadow. And that shift, that emotional whiplash, it hits deeper than any compliment ever could. But listen closely. You don't disappear out of anger. You use it when your value is being taken for granted. Because timing matters. Absence only works when presence had power. And when you return, calm, unfazed, unmoved, she won't greet you with anger. She'll greet you with curiosity and fear, because she knows you can walk away at any time and not flinch. That's not manipulation, that's gravity. And gravity doesn't chase, it pulls. So here's the part that makes you uncomfortable. Everything I just told you, it works. Not because it's good, but because it's true. And the reason most men never use it isn't because they're moral. It's because they're afraid. Afraid she'll leave. Afraid she'll stop loving them. Afraid of the silence. But here's what Machiavelli understood that you're just beginning to see. The men who are loved are forgotten. The men who are feared are remembered. And the men who master both, they don't just live in her mind. They reshape it. You think you'd notice if someone was doing this to you. But no, not this. Because the best control doesn't feel like control at all. It feels like attraction. So let me ask you something. Right now, in this moment, are you the man who chases or the man who creates gravity? Are you the one explaining your worth or the one who doesn't need to? Because these aren't just techniques. They're not tricks. They're structures that press switches in the human mind. Switches that shift someone from logic to obsession, from control to craving. Most men will never understand this. They're too addicted to approval, too afraid of the silence. But if something inside you shifted while watching this, if a deeper instinct just woke up, then you're not here for entertainment. You're here to take the wheel. So here's what I want from you. If this message touched something real, comment one word below. Control. No explanation. Just that. It tells me you're not like most men. And if you want to see how deep this really goes, subscribe now, because what's coming next won't just show you how to win her. It will show you how to become the kind of man who doesn't need to. The kind she can't explain, but also can't stop thinking about. So, which side of this are you really on?